We are live. What's up, you beautiful buttholes?
Hell yeah, motherfucker. What's going on?
Yeah.
And me, Matt. I got my man, Killer Kyle, in
Yeah.
style. In a while, anyways. So, yeah, it's Sunday. And I was in a mood earlier today, so we're going to do some shit. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's fine. So, yeah, if you can't tell by the topic of the video, we're going to talk about something different.
Yes.
And whatever. So, yeah, there was a couple weeks ago. Now, I don't watch Stranger Things. I don't know if you watch it or seen it.
Not really.
Apparently, Metallica was sampled by one of the child actors on the show.
Right.
And people are losing their shit. I don't know why, honestly. I don't know why. It's pop culture. It's the show that, you know what, they're going to talk about like bands of whatever era, and then they're just going to, talk about that. But for some reason, somebody made a fuss about it.
Yeah.
And there's actually this chick on TikTok who is basically outing Metallica with, things that they did back in the 90s and 80s and things that were like, very inappropriate at the time, but A, they were drunk, and B, they were very fucking young. So,
yeah. A, they were drunk. B, they were fucking young. And C, it was the time period.
Time period, yeah, exactly.
Like, when they were younger, this was back in like the 80s. And during that period of time, there was a lot of inappropriate shit that went on in the metal community, I will call it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just fucking Metallica.
No.
So,
yeah.
You take that, stick it in your pipe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stick it in your pipe and smoke it.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that this band has been like criticized and whatever for fucking decades. It's like, okay, so you talk about a band that basically made music, made a music video, and apparently they said they weren't ever going to do that, but they did anyways. And then a little while after that, the Black Album came out, which made it mainstream, which was apparently another metal no-no. And then, they chopped off their hair.
Well,
it is what it is. James did. Then Jason did.
Right.
Lars and Kirk kind of had longish hair.
Yeah.
But not that much.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what they did. Metallica, once again, is like one of those bands that, and we talked about WWE comparing, them to WWE. They were never fully in the metal community.
No.
Like, what I mean, is they were more or less, they kind of did their own style. Like, they were still metal, but they did punky type songs. They did I guess maybe hard rock, their classic rock, whatever they did.
Yeah.
And they were out of their element. And like Load and Reload is still fucking good. I really enjoy those two albums, and so they kind of branched out and did their own thing.
Yeah.
So fucking what? Megadeth did the same thing with Risk and
yeah.
But nobody is up their ass.
No.
So.
And like one thing that doesn't really get discussed all that much, and honestly think it should get discussed more, is Metallica is one of the bands that helped revolutionize metal music.
Yep. Yeah, thrash metal in general.
Thrash metal in general. But like, there was a concert, I'll call it, and there was a performance by the big four metal bands:
Mm-hmm.
Metallica,
Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer.
Right. So without those four bands, metal music would have not been as wide of a phenomenon as it is now.
Right.
Because, like, okay, you look, you go Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, Metallica, and you go Slipknot,
Korn,
Motorhead.
Motorhead, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. Well, those guys came before Metallica, so basically, Metallica was like the leaders of the thrash metal movement.
Yeah, Judas Priest came before Metallica and probably Megadeth and Anthrax and Slayer, but like those four bands really made metal music what it is.
Yes. And then before that, obviously, you got like Black Sabbath, Blue Cheer, Deep Purple. Just realized a lot of the names are colors, but it's kind of like, there's that. But the main, band that always seems to get picked on is Metallica. And it kind of sucks. I mean, when you listen to other bands, I believe that a lot of them after the Black Album, they wanted to try and, I don't want to say make ballads, but that's kind of what happened, and except for Slayer. I think Slayer was the band that always fucking stayed true to the thrash metal movement. In fact, they were a little, in my opinion, more darker than all the other bands. I mean, you look at like Metallica and Megadeth, and of course Anthrax, and they were like, thrash, like partying and talking about fucking girls. And, whatever. Don't sound. Then you go and you talk about Slayer and a band who basically talked about Satanism and like evil shit. So, I mean, you could say they were a little bit more of the extreme metal genre, but not. Well, it depends how you look at it. When I first heard Slayer, I classified them as death metal, but they're not death metal, obviously. So but when you look at like Stranger Things, and it's like, I think one thing that really fascinates me is like, even when I was in high school, you still had kids my age or younger, and they're wearing like Jimi Hendrix t-shirts or Bob Marley t-shirts or fucking, well, even like Metallica and Motorhead, bands that were before their time.
Yes.
So now you have kids in this generation, and some of them they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You have music that will never fucking die.
No.
Like, I don't know the last time somebody wore a New Kids on the Block shirt. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
we watched a video one time. It may have been was Mike the Knight?
Yeah, Mike the Knight.
That was talking about there's a scene in an episode of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And the one of the characters is playing Master of Puppets.
Yep.
And there's these like demonic creatures that are like summoned because of the Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
And just how like like them playing the song wasn't, what it could have been. And it's like nobody is ever gonna cover Master of Puppets or any Metallica song or any other metal band song as good as the original. But that's the point.
Yeah, a cover song means it's a cover song. It's not it's not real. Like it's not what it means.
Like you're doing the song, but you're doing the song
Homage.
Yeah, an homage and kind of like in your own style.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
But that's kind of like, nitpicking and everything. But the thing is, though, Metallica's always been that band that people kind of shit on for whatever reason or another. But there's other bands, like we got Slipknot, for example. And the thing is, too, is that every band that you know of, each album, they change their sound.
Oh, yeah.
In some way or another.
Exactly.
Megadeth isn't always going to sound the same. Yes, they're going to be similar, but they're not always going to sound the same.
Exactly.
I'm not really a big Testament fan, so I don't know a lot. Like, I'm assuming that each album is different. Anthrax is definitely different, not just because they changed singers, but like,
yeah,
each band is going to sound different. Like, they're never gonna sound the same. Like Slipknot, for example, in my opinion, did more like an old school record with the gray file. I can't believe I'm gonna put you that.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Yeah. And another thing about it too is like people expect Metallica to be perfect. Metallica is not going to be fucking perfect. And like I said, back in the day, back when metal or like bands like Metallica and Megadeth and
Great chapter. Sorry to cut you off.
Guns N' Roses, like when they were first becoming a thing, they were do drugs, drink, talk about sex, this, that, and the other thing, but it was the time period.
Yeah.
And so like every time Metallica gets shit on, it's like they're one of the few bands left that have been around for
say 40 years.
Yeah, I was going to say 25 to 30, but 40 I think is accurate.
Yeah.
So like, come on, people.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. I think a lot of bands that are still going are fucking killing it.
Oh
somehow. I mean, with the exception of Kiss, but we won't go there.
Meh.
And that's a different topic. I probably did a video for that actually, but yeah, and then that's the thing too. And I think a lot of bands now are kind of like a lot of people are like rock and roll is dead. Well,
No.
You have bands that are fresh in a way, and they're killing it. Like Greta Van Fleet was always going to be compared to Led Zeppelin. Well, yeah, they're similar, but they're not the fucking same.
Comparing Greta Van Fleet to them is like comparing a Mustang to
Lincoln
Continental.
Yeah.
You know, like that's that's some big shoes to fill.
Yeah. And I think too with each genre, it's always gonna be different. It's never ever gonna be the same again. That's just the way it is. And it's, some bands are gonna change, genres are gonna change. Hair metal was the shits back in '89
Yeah.
or whenever.
Yeah.
New metal, a lot of the old school metalheads hated that genre or subgenre, if you will.
Yeah.
So that that's what got me into metal.
Right.
I was actually just listening to Korn. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of bands that, are still around and they're still making music.
Oh yeah.
By the way, if you haven't watched it already, Ozzy, I think, yeah, they were in Birmingham, England, and they had Ozzy and Tony do Paranoid.
Oh yeah.
There's a recent video, and fucking Ozzy, man, after that surgery, and he's fucking still killing it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever gonna be the same, obviously.
No.
I don't think any band ever is gonna be the same, but this
No.
guy is killing it so far.
Yeah.
At 70 fucking 3 years old or something, I think. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Whatever the fuck old he is right now.
Yeah, I look at bands like Def Leppard that look like old ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, the thing is too, when you have bands like Metallica or Kiss or Aerosmith,
Yeah.
or Guns N' Roses, or I'll finish that thought in a moment.
Hello?